Jim Davidson, chairman and president, Coral Gables Trust Company. When I was in business school, I was intrigued by the stock market, and they had a stock market contest sponsored by some management company. And my second year at Wharton, I actually won the contest by picking a portfolio of stocks, and so all the students in it, I won it. So that gave me additional confidence to do it. So always I read, trying to find new companies. Like, I don't know if you remember Peter Lynch of Magellan Fund, Fidelity, always said you find the best companies by just keeping your eyes open and going out, and you go to a restaurant or you go to a retail shop or whatever and try to find the niche, what company is really exceptional. So that's always had my interest. So I had the interest in the stock market and still do, follow it daily. But the idea of investment banking was helping companies raise capital to create jobs and do good things. I believe very much in the private sector and what they do to promote jobs and keep the economy going strongly. So that's always been my driving interest in it. And since being in investment banking, I've gone into different areas of the investment and financial field, but that was my start in investment banking. When I moved down here, I started a broker-dealer firm, Davidson Capital Partners, primarily doing merger and acquisition work for smaller companies. And then shortly after that, I was approached by a friend of mine in Florida who had started the largest venture capital firm in Florida. South Atlantic Venture Capital. And he kept after me, come join us, join our fund. I really wanted to have my own company, but finally decided it'd be terrific to get the experience in venture capital and learn about that, and I enjoyed the people that were with that firm. And so I joined their fund as a partner in '97 for their fund number 4. And so we invested that capital, I think it was about $80 million. And then after it was fully invested, really all the partners weren't needed. So we stayed involved, but I started looking for the next thing to do. And through a friend, met a couple of guys that had been at Bank of America and wanted to stay in Miami. They were having to maybe leave to be gone, transferred to another office for Bank of America, and so they were interested in starting a mezzanine fund, and their background on the debt side and mine having been in private equity or venture capital was a good combination. So we decided to start a mezzanine firm, and we're a SBIC, Small Business Investment Corporation. And so we're licensed by the SBA, Small Business Administration. And they provide part of our capital. We raised a pool of equity capital, and then the SBA provides 2 times leverage, cheap money against that, to invest in smaller companies in the United States to promote employment and growth of small business. Mezzanine is essentially if we're used primarily when someone or a private equity firm is buying out another company. And so the sponsors, we call them, of the equity, put in a certain amount of equity, and then to do the buyout, they'll borrow all the money they can from a bank, because it's much cheaper, and then sometimes that doesn't cover the price that's being asked that they have to pay for the company. So then to fill that gap, they look at subordinated debt. We're subordinated to the senior debt, but have rights above the equity. And so we're somewhat more expensive than a bank debt, and we also take a piece of equity, warrants or equity in the company. And so it's called mezzanine. It's not on the bottom level, but the mezzanine, between mezzanine and the top floor. Shortly after we started Banyan in 2003, and then just as we got it started, a friend of mine here in Miami was working for a large one of the larger investment banks here, and they were closing the office and wanted him to move to New York, and he didn't want to move to New York. And so he said, I'm thinking about starting a new company myself, asset management, money management firm. So would you like to join? And I said, well, I've just been involved in starting a mezzanine finance firm, but I'd be open to it. So we talked about what we could do that would be different. And we decided that the larger financial institutions provide terrific service through their private banking operation to high net worth individuals, but sometimes the minimum to get with one of these big institutions can be 10 million, 20 million, 50 million in some cases. So we said, why don't we start a firm to provide the same high level of service to smaller individuals, foundation, 500,000 to be the minimum. Okay. And then we sort of bracketed our customer, our client, to be in investable assets of $500,000 to $5 million, okay? And then we said the big clients at the large firms, they're able to invest with the top managers in the world in private equity or fixed income, stock market, whatever they do. Why don't we make available to our smaller clients the same high caliber, high performing, better performing managers that the big firms do? And so they call that's called open architecture. So a lot of firms back then and still don't have an open architecture. They have funds within the bank or the financial institution that they manage themselves and earn a fee on. Whereas we decided to be completely open and to have no conflicts whatsoever. We don't get a fee for managing a particular pool of money, but rather we reach out and select the best managers around the world out of 25,000 to provide to our clients. And so that's open architecture. And we don't have any proprietary funds where we earn extra fees on managing that fund, okay? Okay. And so we did that, and then we set it up like was not generally done back in 2004. We negotiate with our client, or actually we have a fee schedule and then our clients pay one fee, asset-based fee based on the amount of investments they have with us, the amount of money. And that's it. There are no hidden fees at all. So fixed asset fee, open architecture. And then being local, our senior people, our very senior people, and I think we have the best people that I've ever seen in the work that I've done over the years with a lot of different management teams. We've got the best people in the state, if not the country, I believe. And but they're right here in Miami. We have an office in Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach. And so when clients want to meet with the senior people making the decisions, we're there to meet with them on a regular basis. And that makes such a difference. So a lot of the business we do, they need hand-holding, they need to understand what's happening with their money. And then in the case of our trust business, how we're administering the trust at the highest levels to make sure that, say, a client that's had a personal injury and got an award, we work with them to try to ensure that that money that they have lasts them for their lifetime, and they can live well with what assets they have.